Hi everyone, this is Nesrine and you're listening to Talks with Ness Podcast, the first show bringing together founders from Europe, Africa and the Middle East to talk about business, technology and finance. If you ask founders around the world about the most common problem that they have faced when they were in the process of launching their businesses, they will point out the problem and the challenge of branding and how it can be difficult for first-time founders especially to get a professionally designed brand. In today's episode, I'm pleased to have with me Lucie, Baratte and Dagobert Renouf, the founders of Logology, a French startup on the mission to make professional graphic designs accessible to everyone around the world. Welcome to the show, Lucie and Dagobert. How are you doing?
Fine, very, very good. Thank you, Nesrine.
Very happy to be here.
So guys, let's start by sharing the story of Logology, how it all started for you and what was the vision behind it?
So the way it started was really with Lucie, who is a logo designer. She's a freelance designer. She did that for more than 10 years. And I think it was like maybe not every month, but like almost every month she would have someone come to her and like, hey, I really love your style. I need a logo for my startup. Can you help me? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. It's like $3,000. And she'll be like, oh, okay, I only have 100. So I'm not going to be able to do it. And so we noticed that and we thought, okay, we need to find a way to make it more accessible for all the people who are just beginning and don't have a lot of money.
Yes, just like Dagobert said, the idea was really since the beginning to help entrepreneurs at early stages, because for my part, I've always loved how passionate people be about their ideas when they want to launch a business, and I'm in love with ideas in general myself. So I've always thought that the world can change for better with just a bunch of great ideas. And I was wondering what can I do to help and to be part of this human adventure. And just like Dagobert said, I was a custom logo designer. And very often people came to me asking me if they could work with me. They wanted to have a relevant and meaningful logo design, but they could not afford this. So we, Dagobert and I, had this idea when we were on our honeymoon to create.
That's interesting.
Yeah, to create like a new something that did not exist really. That it's not like a logo generator because you have the brand advice, you have a design thinking perspective, and you can get like really meaningful logo design. But it's not like custom logo design like when you are working with a freelancer logo designer, for example. It's just something different.
Yeah, actually, when you type on Google Logology, the meta description on your website is get your brand identity within 5 minutes. And it's not only get your logo within 5 minutes. And I think it really represents what your startup is doing. It's not only about generating a logo, it's about building the whole identity, actually, the whole graphic design necessary to make the identity and the brand. Looking back now, how can you describe the entrepreneurial journey that you've gone through to build and develop Logology?
It was not an easy path, an easy journey. It is, I could say, because it's been 3 years now that we have been working on Logology, and it's just only since the last 6 months that it's becoming to be sustainable. I could wish I wasn't so naive about the challenges above us in this journey, and I could wish I knew more vividly how money and relationships could be a struggle in a long-term perspective. But to be honest, I really don't linger on regrets because something strong happened during these last 3 years that I have deeply understood that making mistakes is not such a big deal in the end. All that matters is to have a clear vision, keep the vision alive at any cost, and go on.
Yeah.
I now I know I will make new mistakes in the future, but I'm okay with it now. And what helped me the most was the intimate belief that the product we designed has something good to offer to other people. And finally, I think it's always about listening to your heart. Well, it's maybe it's very obvious to say, but
Yeah,
like
having faith in your
listening,
vision and believing in your idea.
Yes, really like taking care of this genuine desire to help entrepreneurs with the brand vision that I could offer. Helped me really go through fire, because I thought and I knew inside that it was a good thing. It was something real, something true. So
That's really
yeah, even when
inspiring, you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Especially in times of despair.
Yes, but yeah, we went through very difficult times because of, as I said, because of money, because of relationships, because sometimes we really was, I think we were like losing hope, losing courage. And I remember last year, I don't know if it's the same for you, Dagobert, but last year we had so many ideas for marketing or features, of course. And as we were doing it, I was saying to myself mostly, and to the both of us, like, we have to stay confident inside, even if it's going to be hard, because it's not this feature or this new idea that will enlighten everything and suddenly everything is easy and there is no problem. Because when you are creating a startup, you have to experiment almost everything from different activities that you really didn't know about before.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like yeah, walking in the forest, and you're just like, oh, this is not a cute animal at all, finally, but yeah, you just learn as you go, and it's okay if you fall, and it's okay. We will do other mistakes, but at the end, it's okay. But it's okay because of the desire, because of this, I think, intuition that something is good in this project, that there is some truth here.
You have nailed it out, like you have described the journey of first-time founders, the journey. And it's not only first-time founders, every founder, because every project is different, every business is different, and there is always the path of learning, failing, succeeding, and then learning, failing, experimenting, succeeding. So it's a never-ending marathon, actually. So Dagobert, do you want to add something to what Lucie was saying?
I feel, there's this thing about hope, about losing hope. And yeah, I think it's all about like having, like, because we always talk about positive motivation, like, oh, I want to change the world, I want to make the world a better place. And it's cool and it's useful, but like when you really don't have any customers, when you struggle, it's not like, it feels like you're not helping anyone anyway. So it's like, it's not very useful to have that motivation. And so I noticed, at least for me, it was like to have like a negative motivation. So what I mean by that is like, not just something I want to reach, so like help the world with like amazing brands when they're just starting, but also what I want to avoid. And to me, that was, I want to avoid going back to a job. Like, I really don't want to do this anymore. I really want to like.
This is another person over here joining you in this.
I see Crazy Brand because like, and when it was really at the bottom of it, it was like, I don't want to do these jobs anymore. I just want to keep building my own thing. So whatever it takes, we're going to keep pushing and we're going to keep trying. And even if we fail, at least we'll have tried everything we could. And that was really important, at least for me, like last year when it seemed very hopeless. I was like, it's hopeless, but I'd rather be hopeless and keep trying things kind of randomly until it works, than just like do this other thing that I want to avoid.
That's fair enough, That's really fair enough. I mean, it's a matter of belief, as Lucie nailed it out, and also it's a matter of doing everything that is at your like doing everything that you have on your hands to avoid a situation or a life that you totally refuse. So
Yeah,
that's
it.
pretty cool. So can you describe what makes Logology special and stands out from the crowd? What's the value that you want to bring and you're bringing to your customers?
Well, I would say that first, for a user, you get a free brand advice. This is with the questionnaire. The idea is really to help you define the values of your business that make it the values that are making your business special. I think it's a first point. The other specificity of Logology is the logo design, of course, because at Logology there is no, there is no random icon generation or no ghost designers. Every logo is in our catalog has been designed by me, and I'm a logo designer.
You're the creative director, actually, of Logology.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I'm the creative director, and I'm the actual designer, logo designer. We would love to work with other designers in the future, but for the moment, it's only me. So every logo has a meaning and a thoughtful design. Like I've decided for every color and font combination in advance. So the user, whatever you choose, are sure to get a beautiful solution. And I spent a lot of time studying each activity and sector so that the logo proposals are relevant for the business. And I would say, last but not least, and maybe Dagobert will agree with this, that with Logology, we really wanted to have a special tone from the other digital solution, and it is the human, I would say, human-centric vision, something like this, because Dagobert and I, we wanted to take care of the customers. Dagobert is often available on the live chat to help. I send handwritten greeting cards to each client, and it might not seem obvious, but we are the only online logo solution able to give a fair price to designer. We are the only one sustainable solution for designer, even if for the moment I'm the only one. But if in the future we are working with other designer, we'll be able to pay for the work, and it's actually for the moment not really the case on digital solution. For example, many logo generators, you don't know who is designing. It's not like real logos. People are not paid for the design, stuff like this.
I can only agree with everything you said, Lucie, because I didn't say it, but I'm one of your clients. And before coming to Logology or being introduced to Logology, I have tested many logo designs, logo generator online. I have also worked with designer in France and in Tunisia. And, like today that I know Logology, there's no question about it. Every time I need a brand identity, every time I need a logo, I will go to Logology. No doubts about it, because the whole process, it's about the product, but it's also about the whole process that you have crafted from onboarding the customer until the after sales, the messages, the emails, the card that you send, everything. It feels like we're happy, when you're a customer of Logology, you're happy. It's funny. You love the questionnaire. You love you love answering the questions. You love playing around with the different colors and different suggestions that are provided after answering the questionnaire. So, and also all the emails that you receive once you get your logo, and all the emails and guidelines that you receive. How did you thought about it? It's one. I think it's really amazing to have such customer-centric process and product at the same time. How did you thought about it? How did you get it, and how did you implement it?
Well, thank you.
So
First, I want to thank you, Nesrine, because nothing can make me more happy but to hear you so happy about your experience with
I loved
Logology.
my experience.
Thank you very much. And I'm just, for this idea, I will just say that when I was a freelance graphic designer, I met a young woman who was a product designer, and she was building her own business on design thinking solutions.
Yes.
So she promoted, and I felt so inspired by her and by the concept of design thinking, which is, in short, for people who are not knowing about it, is applying design process, so a user-centric process, to every creative object, product, or service. And at this time, I imagine how I could bring design thinking in the field that I love the most, which is graphic design, and more specifically visual identity and brand design. So I invented interactive workshops for my clients to define their logo. I gave talks about my method, and the more successful the method was, the more I thought I should find a way to help more people with it. And that's how with Dagobert we have this idea. But Dagobert has a point of view on this, I'm sure.
and the thing is, because like the first 6 months we were like, okay, how do we think of this product? And we were trying to think of like a great idea, but like we're kind of like in our heads trying to figure it out, and it was going nowhere. And then we were like, okay, we're gonna do the same thing that you do. Like we basically took like everything she does with clients, like that she just described, and like try to make it into an automated way. And I think that's why like there's a synergy between the product and like the service side, because for us we're still doing service.
Yeah.
Because I was a freelancer for 10 years. She was, as a developer, and she was that as a designer. So we really are used to like taking care of our clients, and like supporting them. That's really, we're into service. Although now we really don't want to do service, we want to do a product because that's what is fun and exciting for us. And we think also it brings the most value. But we use the same mindset of like, okay, every customer, even someone who spends like, $49 on a logo, it's like one of our clients of one of, when we were freelancers. So the whole thing is thought like that. So that's why we write a letter. That's why I send an email to everyone also. Like the email sequence you got with like the branding advice. Lucie took like 1 month to write everything, and it's actually tailored based on your personality. So there's actually different email sequences based on your personality. And because we were like, okay, if it was like, because it is like, if it's just a customer we're doing service for, we want to give them the best. So we try to find the right mix of like personalized and automated, because like at the very first, like when we started like thinking about it 3.5 years ago, I told Lucie, okay, how do we do this? And we were like, oh, we should have like 1,000 keywords and people could pick, because like, she has so many ideas. And I was like, okay, that's too much service. We can't do that. And then we found a way, the right balance between like perfect and infinite precision and actually automated and, doable, precision. So we ended up finding the right balance of, brand personality and, startup and industry, and mixing those and, finding kind of like, there's basically 10 types of personalities people can be into. And, and that's what, we designed for. So, it was really trying to mix this service thing and make it into a product.
Congratulations to you. Anyway, you've nailed it out again, because it's one of the hardest mix. When we speak about automation, it's the first thing that comes to mind in terms of design or architecture or product is to generalize. Try to make it as general as possible, because that's how you can automate it. And when you think about custom designs or customized product or services, it's difficult to couple it with automation, because everything has to be specifically delivered to the client, for the clients, and to serve the specific needs and interest of that client. So this type of mix is amazing, and congratulations, honestly. As we said it in French, chapeau bas.
Thank you.
So now we will.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, my next question actually is one I've been waiting so long to ask, especially to Dagobert. Like any person following you on Twitter could testify how much you put so much effort and importance to communicate and share your experience about marketing and its importance for startups. And for me, this is one of the areas that I really struggle with, because I think my mind is not cabled to the mindset of a marketer. Anyway, thank God there are experts over there that you can hire. And there are lots of information that you can learn from. And I'm one of the people who is learning a lot from only from your tweets, I've been following you for a couple of months, and they are so inspiring, and I really love reading them. And what I noticed, especially in the founders community and on Twitter, is that marketing, it's like a sensitive subject. Like every entrepreneur is talking about its importance, but it's very, there are very few people really describing what it takes to make it happen or to make it work. I even have a cousin. She's a marketing expert, a digital marketing expert. And every time I ask her a question, I get out more confused.
And that's why I think we're all when you say you're not wired for marketing, is because I was like that. I mean, we have this idea of marketing as this kind of shady, salesy, weird thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a big part of the problem, is because a lot of marketers are just bullshitters, to be honest, and they don't actually, it's not focused on connecting with people or bringing value. And so it makes it all way more complicated in our heads.
Yeah. I think it's one of the area that is a little bit biased by the scammers. I call them the scammers because, I don't know, if you look on the web, you'll find lots of people having just one landing page, no products behind, and selling you things at impressive rates. So my question for you, with more than 25,000 followers on Twitter, and reference the one from Anna Bibikova, who even actually tweeted one time that she's interested in doing a reverse engineering on your landing page and your tweets, and in order to understand the work that you're doing when it comes to marketing Logology and your conversion rates and all of that stuff. How did you switch from not being wired as a marketer to being actually a CEO who is successfully marketing his startup? And how it has changed the growth rate, the growth pace of Logology?
So what really helped me, because I struggled with my marketing, I had a bias against it for the first 2.5 years of Logology. And we were going nowhere with, not selling many logos. It was the hopeless thing we talked about.
Yeah.
And eventually when I realized, okay, I'm going to keep trying anyway, so I'm going to try to do marketing. So I started trying, and at first I was doing very ridiculous things. I was just going to every online community and presenting my product because I had no better things to do, no better ideas.
I did that.
You should do that. And I eventually I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing that. And I remember at some point I was on Twitter and I had, doing a search on Twitter for everybody who said, because, my target market is going to be startup founders, and especially indie hackers and people who are just beginning or doing a side project. So I looked for people, and in this community you have build in public and these kind of hashtags, which is about, building your startup. And I looked for everyone who talked about, what are you building today? What are you working on today? And even people I didn't follow, and every time I'm oh, good thing you ask. I'm working on Logology today, and I would just say that 10 times a day for weeks on Twitter. So pretty spammy, not very high quality. And I think what switched for me is as I got into Twitter more and I started participating more, also more sincerely, I stopped thinking about marketing, and I just thought, and I saw that by participating, it was enough to make people curious about Logology, what I'm doing, and all that. And what helped me, because marketing, even right now, marketing, I don't like this word. It's not something I don't want to be marketing. It doesn't sound good. But now I basically switched it into participating. So it's not about when you say that, it's not about promoting yourself. It's about bringing value, listening to people, and it's like, and by doing that, I actually realized this is real marketing. Like real marketing is about connecting with people, listening to people, and trying to obviously promote your product when it's useful, but that's it. And so what really helped me was like switching from marketing to participating. And it's also way more fun. Like if you don't want to wake up in the morning to be promoting yourself like crazy, but you want to get up in the morning to like participate in communities, meet people, engage with people. It's way more positive. So that's when I after spamming for a bit, I made that switch in my head, and it was way easier.
I
And
think I think spamming is an important step. Is a first important step for everyone. Actually, we all start by that. Like you don't know you have a product you've been building, you're working on for a couple of months. You have a product, you have something that you believe in, and you just want to bring it out there to the world and tell them, hey, hello, I have something that might interest you. Can you check it out and see if you're interested or not? So it's a first step, and it's part of the experimentation, and marketing is about experimenting, actually. And I totally agree with you. It's about connecting with people, bringing value, listening to them, engaging, and eventually it will happen.
Yeah, and yeah.
And did you but this is what we call the organic marketing. What about the paid marketing? I mean, have you thought about, have you done it? Have you defined the strategy about it? When it comes to Logology growth, how can you say, I mean, for example, today, are your customers coming from your organic, huge and massive work that you did through participating and engaging with people, or you have also a part that is coming from paid marketing and from campaigns on social media, for example, or Google Ads?
Yeah. So we tried paid marketing at first, like before I went into social, because it seems easier. It seems like you can just put money in, and then hopefully you get money out. And since you don't want to do marketing in the first place, it's very appealing to think you can just get away with it. So, that's why we tried. And we spent, I think, $600 on Google Ads. That was like, early 2021, before I did Twitter. And we had 0 sales. Like we had hundreds of people, but nothing converted. And we didn't have like a lot of, budget. So we stopped. We also spent some money sponsoring newsletters that was targeted at startup founders and indie hackers, and it didn't go anywhere either. And that's when and then Twitter started working. And so I realized, and we're going to try again paid marketing at some point, but I realized when you're new and nobody knows you, organic is so cool because people trust it way more. Like if somebody clicks on an ad, you have so many, they have so many defenses around whatever you're going to say, because they know you paid, they know you're like advertising. So when you see an ad, you don't trust it, you question it. But when you see someone share something you like on Twitter, you trust them automatically. And then, oh, what are they doing? They didn't even try to sell me. That must be interesting. And so we saw that Twitter brought us way more sales than that. And so right now, it's only Twitter. Like it's like 99%. I mean, it's Twitter or like secondary from Twitter. Like, for example, we're doing this interview with you. Maybe it's going to bring a sale from someone who saw it somewhere. But originally, the opportunity is coming from Twitter. And that, so that's right now, that's how we do the marketing. That's only Twitter. And maybe one day we'll do, I think, retargeting ads to try to, remind people to buy a logo if they start it, because I think it has potential. But because like it takes, I think like to get it right, you need a lot of money. you need like at least a few $1,000s to just get somewhere. And right now we don't want to spend that. We don't want to take the risk, so we focus on organic. And actually right now Lucie is focused on writing, blog posts and articles about design and branding, just kind of like the email sequence you got, but like now for a blog, and trying to make like kind of like a resource that could bring us traffic from Google, but organic still. So basically we fell in love with organic because we saw how much better it was for trust and connecting with people. So right now we are all in on that.
That's very interesting, honestly, because I totally agree with all what you're saying. But for me, what happened was the opposite.
Oh, wow.
I had a very bad experience on the organic, because I was the kind of person out of social media all my life. And now I need to get back to social media. So I had never been a social media girl, so it was a little bit, I need to make the switch correctly. But for example, right now we're making all our sales through paid marketing. That's how we survived for 1 year and a half.
Okay. So that's totally dependent on the product and the market and how competitive.
I think so. Yeah. But what I have to say and agree with you about it is the difference on the quality of the customers that you get through the organic and the paid. We have witnessed like the few customers that we have that came to us through the organic channel are amazing. We have a very good experience with them. And I would say 73% of our customers coming from paid campaign, they're either one-time customer or we don't have an engagement with them. There's nothing like a connection or personal. They just came, they bought the product, and that's it. And since we do online training, so for us, we monitor the number of hours that people spend doing the course and the engagement on the course, we noticed that people coming from organic marketing are more engaged. So that's something very interesting, because you laid it out again. Organic takes a lot of time. And people think, okay, it's free, but it's not free for founder. I don't know how much time it takes you to work on marketing for Logology, but it's a lot of time. And for every entrepreneur, time is money.
Yeah, so of course. Yeah, it's about balancing. Exactly. If you start with money, well, you're going to invest your time. But once you have some money, you can, save time by using money. Yeah.
That's the thing. And the thing with organic is the quality. I really, that's the experiment that I noticed, is the quality that you receive, the quality of the traffic that you receive, the quality of customers that you gain on your customer base. It's amazing. There is a big difference, actually. So for first-time founders, who are struggling actually with marketing their startups, who are struggling to connect with their audience or with their customers, what would be the advice that you can share with them in their time of despair?
Well, I wanted to say, because we were speaking of marketing and the difficulty to get organic marketing, even paid marketing, this engagement we were talking about, I was thinking that when you want to find your audience and want to sell more, well, I think maybe the first advice is to stay genuine, to stay sincere, because even for organic marketing, what is very powerful is that it is some kind personal. For example, here with Dagobert, it is personal because people trust Dagobert, so they like what he is doing, what he is bringing on Twitter, so they are interested in Logology. But maybe if you come with a brand, it's more difficult, and so I think it's very important to stay sincere. And the second advice would be if you are struggling to market your product, is really to talk to your customer, listen to them, empathize with them, more importantly, to understand how you can help them. But again, in the meantime, don't forget to stay genuine and realistic, because it's not about doing whatever people ask. It's like listening to the problem to find a solution. And I would like to add that after that, it might look weird to say that, but I really would like to advise every early stage founder to take care of their mental health, because to me, it's the main danger at this point. A bad mental health will shadow your vision, will infect your actions. And I think we don't speak enough of the impact of this issue in the startup world.
That's unfortunate, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I experienced it last year, when we were hopeless. Sometimes I would have this feeling of a shadow following me, and was disturbing my vision. And I thought, this can't get in the way, because if I don't have a clear vision of where I want to go, how can I go there? If I'm only looking at the rain, only feeling the rain. It reminds me of a beautiful Chinese proverb. It's okay to look at the birds in the sky, but don't let them nest in your head. And I really like this idea. I do think that when you come to create something, when you put so much energy in your business, there is something very personal, and it's okay. Of course, it will be personal. So when you go to market your product, it's very difficult sometimes to not take it personally. And you have to you have to work on it to stay healthy in your head and your mind, and maybe meditate every day, maybe do yoga, maybe go to a psychologist if you need, or have a coach, or whatever is good for you. And maybe it's multiple solutions, but it's very important, I think.
That's that's very sensitive, it's very sensitive what you're saying here, because you're touching a topic that not every entrepreneur feel comfortable talking about, which is the mental health, and is our state of being when things don't go the way that we thought they were going towards. So thank you so much for this advice, Lucie, because it's really you're touching the vulnerable aspect of entrepreneurship, and it's really, really powerful. What about you, Dagobert? What would be your advice for first-time founders struggling with their marketing and their business?
So I think, we talked about marketing a bit, and I wanted to talk more about, like Lucie talked about, mental health. And because that's really what it comes down to. Because like when you do it, it's so difficult because you don't expect it. Like you think it's going to be good. Like you think like you'll make millions because you have big dreams, you have big ideas. Like we used to think that. And so you don't, and that's like, and that happens to almost everyone. Is like it doesn't happen, and so you're very disappointed, and that's where it becomes like the real work starts. Like it's not the fantasy anymore. It's not like, oh, I'm building my startup, making millions. No, it's like making nothing, nobody cares, and you're alone, or like almost, and you have to find a way. And I feel like it's all about, and it's kind of like sound a bit like a platitude or bullshit, but it's really about, how can you enjoy it even if it fails? Like how can you like it? Like how can you find something that you like doing? For example, Lucie, she loves designing logos. She's never going to be unhappy if she designs logos because she likes it. And for me, I'm never going to be unhappy if I build a product I like, or if I speak with other founders on Twitter, because this makes me happy. So then when you have something that makes you happy, even if it struggles, even if you have bad times, at least you can keep going. Because like if you don't actually like it, like if you're like thinking, oh, this is a good idea, and you do it because it's a good idea, but like not because you like it, then when it becomes hard, because it's gonna become hard, then like this good idea will sound like a bad idea because like you will like, okay, it's not working, so it was probably a bad idea. And if you don't enjoy it, you're going to give up.
Yeah.
When it's like at this exact time that you should actually, okay, I'm not sure, but I enjoy it, so I keep doing anyway. And then eventually you will, climb back up and start getting some success and some hope in the future again. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Dagobert, for this advice, and thank you for being with us. So it's really, really wonderful to finally meet you and to have you on this interview. So
Yeah.
I'm going to finish this episode with Lucie. What would be the next phases for Logology?
We have a lot of projects for Logology. I would say that maybe it is time for us to find a balance between marketing and features and product, because obviously, as we talked about it, Dagobert is spending a lot of time marketing. I'm working on the product, but for the next month, we would love to enhance the product, to find time to enhance the product. We want to give the large vision that we had in the first place. It's about branding in general and not only logo. So in the weeks to come, we'll be able to provide brand identity guidelines with more colors, more fonts, more files. And I'm working on the blog. Oh, I forgot to say that we are going to change the price and be able to put a parity pricing, for the different, we would love to do this. It takes a little time to put in, so we will do that. And to enhance our marketing too by writing blog posts for my part, for example. I'm writing articles about branding, obviously, and how can I help my customer managing their brand, because what I love the most about brand, maybe, and it is related to marketing, is the idea that you are just telling a story, and how you can tell a story, and how you can share your story, and maybe
bring it out there.
Yeah, reading out there and find your audience. I find it's very interesting. So I'm getting passionate about this, and this is what we are going to do for the next month.
That looks like an exciting project, actually.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of work, I think.
Yeah, you're not planning any vacation any sooner enough.
No, not really. Well, it's lucky we are not so fond of vacation, or maybe we'll go in vacation with the computers. But yeah, well, we'll take a little week vacation this summer. But we are so excited to finally find our audience with Logology. It's like having new wings, we are, or new shoes to go dancing. We are so happy. We have more energy than ever, so that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Where people can find Logology, Lucie?
Well, obviously on Twitter, because we spoke about it. You can begin with the Dagobert profile, and after that you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on every social media that I have in mind. It's Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And of course, online, logology.com or logology.co. And very easy to find, I hope.
That's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for this interview. It was very inspiring, empowering, insightful. I really enjoyed having both of you with me today, and I really thank you for all the advices and the information that you shared from your experience to our audience. And I'm pretty sure that lots of founders out there will connect with your story and with Logology, with what you're saying, what you're sharing, because you have touched a lot of sensitive subjects, sensitive elements like mental health, the struggle on the entrepreneurship journey, and having faith having hope, and also sensitive topic like the marketing one. And that's a pretty cool, and I'm really thankful for all that. So I really hope that we will reconnect soon again, and I hope you enjoyed your interview with me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nesrine. It was such a pleasure to talk with you, and I'm sure Dagobert feels the same. It was really an honor to be with you and to have the opportunity to speak so open-heartedly about all the subjects and this very particular journey of being an entrepreneur. I think we are never prepared for that. Even if it's the third time you are building a business, I'm sure you have new things to learn, and it's really like looking at the journey of life in miniature, in a small part, but you can find all the journey of being alive, being a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Logology.com, people, go check it out. It's online. You're gonna love it. If you need any logo, any brand identity, or any graphic design, you're gonna love it. I can assure you that. So this was our episode of Talks with Ness podcast. I hope to talk to you and to see you very soon. Take care.